it would be the honor of my life to represent this borough. It's my home. And I would not be here today were it not for my mother. And the South Bronx is full of mothers like mine who have suffered and struggled and sacrificed so that her baby boy can have a better life than she did. And the opportunity to represent the essential workers of this borough, to represent the powerful mothers of this borough, it's the culmination of a dream.
Of course, the historic nature of this campaign is not lost on me. Growing up poor, black, and gay, I never imagined that somebody like me could run for Congress. Again, let alone be a leading contender for the nomination in the great New York 17th Congressional District. Had I been able to look to someone quite like myself, it would have been direct evidence of the fact that things really do get better later in life.
History could be made this November. Joining us now, two candidates who may soon become the first openly gay black men elected to Congress. Richie Torres is running in New York's 15th congressional district, and Mondaire Jones is vying for New York's 17th. And both join us now. Richie, those were extremely powerful words about your mother. And it seems that you've been serving since you were 25, elected to the city council back in 2013. How much does she drive your desire to serve? And given the fact that you've served in government now for most of your adult life, what do you love about it? What do you hate about it?
Well, before I was a city council member and before I hopefully will be a congressman, I'm first and foremost the product of my mother, Deborah Bachelet. She raised 3 children on a minimum wage, which in the 1990s was $4.25. You know, I would not be where I am today without her. And my mother is the motivation for my desire to represent the South Bronx. You know, the South Bronx is known to be the poorest congressional district in America, but COVID-19 has shown the South Bronx to be the essential congressional district. It's the home of the essential workers who sustain our city and our country. And as I said on primary night, the thought of representing the mothers and the essential workers and the incredible people of the South Bronx, in my home, the Bronx, that's the realization of a personal dream for me.
And Mondaire, what would you hope to accomplish if you get to serve in Congress?
My gosh, you know, I've set forth an ambitious array of proposals, not least of which is the fact that I think that everyone in this country should have quality health care. In the richest nation of the history of the world, I think that everyone should be entitled to that. But in the meantime, we've got to be providing immediate cash assistance. You know, this idea of a one-time $1,200 check for a subset of the American people is a slap in the face for the folks in my district in Westchester and Rockland counties, where it is extremely expensive to live. So that has to be the top priority in the short term.
Eddie Glaude is with us and has a question for you all. Eddie.
So congratulations on what may very well be a historic moment in a country's politics. Let me ask this question about policing. We know that we're in the moment of an interesting crisis, to put it lightly. What is your position around policing reform or defunding the police and the like? Give a sense of the policy. Folks are excited about the identity politics, but what singles each of you out as a representative of your relative districts, and particularly with regards to the question of policing?
For me, the central value of a fair and just criminal justice system has to be accountability. If officers are never held accountable for misconduct, there's never going to be an end to police brutality. If officers are never punished or prosecuted, there's no incentive for de-escalation. There's no incentive for restraint. So I'm in favor, you know, the police departments across the country cannot be trusted to police themselves. There has to be an independent system for investigating, punishing, and if necessary, prosecuting police misconduct. And I also think we have to rethink the notion that the police, that calling 911 is the answer to every problem. We should civilianize our responses to problems like homelessness, substance abuse, addiction, and even violence. There are community-based alternatives like Cure Violence that have been effective at reducing violence without over-criminalizing communities of color.
Yeah, you know, we need national standards in policing. And if you are a local law enforcement agency receiving federal dollars, you should be required to identify yourself, you should be required to practice de-escalation tactics. And of course, we also need to pass a law that eliminates qualified immunity, right? This is a doctrine created by the Supreme Court of the United States that allows law enforcement officers to evade liability or responsibility, even when it is clear that they have violated the constitutional rights of civilians. So we must do an end with that. And we have to think more broadly. I mean, we have to think of systemic racism, which does not have to be intentional, as extending well beyond interactions with police officers, but going as far as ending mass incarceration as we know it.
All right, Richie Torres and Mondaire Jones, thank you both. Good luck to you both. Thanks very much for being on the show this morning. And we'll be right back with more Morning Joe.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.